Welcome to the second part of the spring cleaning challenge. I hope you had a great time sorting out your unfinished projects last week, and I hope you did remember to take photos of the big pile of the unfinished projects and the like pile that appeared after you sorted out all your projects, because I will be happy to send any of my patterns as a gift to anyone who would send me before and after photos that they made during this challenge. And remember that you should send those photos before April the 30th, when the challenge ends. So these are the rules. And now that we settled that, let's move to sorting out the yarn stash that became a little too big to your liking. We'll use the same strategy as the strategy we used to sort out the unfinished projects. And we start with bringing the yarn from all over the places, all the shelves and baskets and boxes where it's been hiding, and putting it all in one big pile. This pile will probably be bigger than the pile we formed when we were sorting out the unfinished projects, so you would probably need more space and a little bit more time. Maybe a couple hours of your time on a weekend that's coming. Take a photo of that pile again if you want to participate in the challenge and get a free pattern as a gift from me. And then, you guessed it, you look at the yarn and be honest with you and decide whether this is the yarn that you want to work with, or it is something that you simply are not inspired by. And again, you make two piles, the keep pile and the donate pile, or sell, depending on the yarn. We'll talk about that a little bit later. For now, we take the yarn, every ball of it, and look at it closely. And you know, there's so many aspects of the yarn that we like, and there are a lot of aspects of the yarn that we don't like. So look at that yarn, touch it, feel it, and decide whether you really like that yarn, whether you want to work with it, and whether the color is right. Sometimes the yarn itself might be great, but the color is wrong, so chances are you will never make anything out of that yarn. If the yarn, even if it's not great and even if the color is not right, but the yarn itself holds some special feeling for you, some memory, or you bought it in a place that you would like to remember better, then fine, keep that yarn. It's not about getting rid of everything. It's about getting rid of things that do not make us happier. So look at each ball of yarn with this perspective in mind and sort out the yarn that you still want to keep and the yarn that you are not interested in anymore. And once you do that, you will end up with two piles. And if you're not sure whether the yarn is something that you would work with, I suggest looking at the fiber content, because sometimes we like the certain fibers and we don't like other fibers. So look at the yarn label, and if the yarn label is lost, then you can always do the burn test and test, basically burn a little piece of that yarn to determine what approximately, of course, what type of fiber it is. You can watch the burn test video at tenroseday.com/burn-test. And if it is the yarn that you're kind of on the fence about, then take a little piece of that yarn, burn it, and try to determine whether it's cotton or wool or acrylic. It will be very hard to determine the blends because, you know, it all looks pretty much the same. But if the yarn has more wool content, for example, it will look in a certain way after it's been burned. If it has more acrylic, then it will look in a different way after it's been burned. So do the burn test if necessary. If not, then simply go by your gut feeling and just decide, okay, I like this yarn or I don't like this yarn. And once again, be honest with you, because there is, you know, you're not hiding from anyone here, right? It's all about you and your feeling of being happy with the yarn that you have. So once you do that, it's time to pamper the yarn that we are going to keep. Look at it, sort it by color or by fiber, or just arrange it in a way that feels pleasing to you. Because yarn is an inspiration. It's supposed to be an inspiration to a person who likes a certain fiber craft. And then make good home to that yarn. Put it on shelves so you can see it every day, or put it in nice baskets, or neat boxes, like colorful boxes or something. Come up with a system that will keep the yarn neat, and that will also inspire you by that yarn. So you can see the yarn, or you can at least enjoy the way it is stored. It's not in those bags, plastic bags, all crumbled and not appealing. It's in nice boxes, nice baskets, on shelves. So make it nice. Make it so that every time you look at your stash, you smile. It should be like that. And the yarn that you decided to keep, it deserves it. It deserves a good place and a good home. So once you play with that yarn enough and you make it happy and you make yourself happy, it would be time to move to the second pile, the pile of the yarn that you decided to get rid of. And there are two ways to get rid of the yarn. You can either donate it or you can sell it. If you don't feel like, if the yarn is expensive, it has good fiber, like alpaca, for example, it's just the colors that's not right. Or let's say it's some fancy mohair, but you discovered that you are allergic to mohair, or any other instances. The yarn, it's not that it's fault, right? So you don't really have to dump it. It's okay to sell it. And we'll talk about that in a moment, but first let's see the most common ways how we can donate the yarn, because this is something that feels good. It feels good to give, especially if it's something that you've been holding on to for quite a while. So it had some meaning to you, right, when you bought it, and then it was sitting in your stash for a while, and now it's time for that yarn to go and become something good, something useful, something helpful to somebody else. And the places that are always happy to get yarn are retirement homes. Those senior ladies and gentlemen, they're always happy to take the yarn and turn it into baby outfits, blankets, something they usually make to help other people, to help different charities. You can also donate yarn directly to charities and churches, but the actual knitters are in most cases in retirement homes. So call those places in your area and ask whether they would like to get the yarn, and then ask who's responsible for that, so arrange a meeting. You can do the same with community centers and school, who often have crafts clubs and some programs that involve working with yarn, and they will be happy to get that yarn and again turn it into something nice, teaching other people to knit or crochet or do other fiber crafts. Again, call those places in your local area. If you don't want to call anyone, let's say you don't have time, that's understandable. Simply give an ad on a classified ad platform like Kijiji or Craigslist or whatever is the biggest platform in your area. So do that, and people would just come and pick it up for free. Or you can again place an ad for something that is of value and sell it and make some money out of that. Another good place to sell yarn or donate it or swap it is Ravelry. There are boards on Ravelry. I did a quick search and I found two very active ones. One is called Sell Trade or Destash, and the other one is called For Sale. So you can go to those boards, discussion boards, and post your photos of your yarn that you want to donate or sell over there. Or you can probably place information about this opportunity to get the yarn in a discussion board that is local to your community, so that will help you avoid the postage and all sorts of things. If everything else fails, you can always bring the yarn to a Salvation Army store or any other second-hand store and just leave it there at the donation center. There is no appointment necessary, and it is an easy way to give the yarn to other people who will turn it into something nice. Thank you for following along, and please send your before and after photos to my email address marina@10roseday.com before April the 30th, because that's when the challenge ends. Send me your photos and make a note with the name of the pattern that you would like to get as a gift from me. The patterns are listed at 10roseday.com/patterns. Choose any pattern you like and let me know which one it is, and I'll get back to you with this pattern file as a gift to thank you for being with me on this challenge. Thank you, my friends.